Today was a major landmark in the debate over Scotland's future, with a focus on the crucial issue of the economy and whether an independent Scotland would keep the pound. All eyes were on the Governor of the Bank of England, Mark Carney. This morning he met First Minister Alex Salmond, who wants a currency union. But how would that work? Over to the Governor. Later in a speech, he said a currency deal between Scotland and the rest of the UK would carry risks. Firm foundations had to be put in place, he said. In other words, a pooling of resources to avoid going the way of the Eurozone.
A durable, successful currency union requires some ceding of national sovereignty. It's likely that similar institutional arrangements will be necessary to support a monetary union between an independent Scotland and the rest of the United Kingdom.
Under a currency union, the Bank of England would have a central role, setting interest rates for both economies. The Governor said a banking union would also be required with joint regulation, and the governments would have to agree shared budget responsibility. So Scotland would have to give up some sovereignty. He said later if a currency union was what governments wanted, he would make it work.
The Bank of England, which is an impartial technocratic institution, would implement whatever monetary arrangements were decided to the best of our ability.
There's no doubting the significance of the Governor's visit to the heart of Edinburgh's financial district to give his views on how a currency union might work and how banks might be regulated in an independent Scotland, including RBS, which has its official headquarters right here. The First Minister pointed out there were now constructive ongoing talks with the Bank of England.
We had a splendid discussion, and I think crucially I've agreed to continue the technical discussions, not negotiations, but the technical discussions that the Bank of England's been having with the Scottish Government, so that our proposals are soundly based on technical terms.
But the pro-union campaign said the Governor had undermined the argument for leaving the UK.
The nationalists say they want to get rid of that, but at the same time re-enter a sort of currency union where they'd be told what to do in terms of tax and spending. Now, that's a very funny form of independence if you end up with a situation where a country you've just broken away from has the final say over what you can do.
Whatever the political cut and thrust, Scottish businesses like this barber have to plan ahead. It's got branches in Edinburgh and London and feels the uncertainty over the currency isn't helpful.
For us, it's important that we can concentrate on where our business is going and not necessarily have to worry about what's happening in either down at Holyrood or down in Westminster that might affect us.
There'll be a lot to negotiate over the currency if Scotland decides on independence, but for that to happen depends on the verdict of the voters later this year. Hugh Pym, BBC News, Edinburgh.